Good morning and aloha. Welcome to Just Talking 24, page 80. 80. Feels great. Before we go on today, I just want to make a little statement. I guess last week was 4th of July, and we are the 50th state of America. And would you believe that? And this is, and I'm taping this on Friday, okay? But would you believe that yesterday our city and county finally had a ceremony celebrating our 250th birthday? And this is the funny part. Last week, okay, we had RIMPAC. For those of you who don't know what RIMPAC is the Pacific Rim naval exercise. You get the navies from Japan, Korea, Australia, all the nations on the Pacific Rim. Not so much South America. I think maybe we get Argentina, maybe. But anyway, they all participate in military exercises. And the other navies are here, and they're looking to see. This is during America's 250th birthday. Where's all the big celebrations? Not a one. Sad. It's pathetic. It is really pathetic. But like I told you, we're blue as blue. Sad. But today, well, putting that aside, I want to talk about something that the experts, experts say separate us, the human species, from all other life forms on this world, on this earth. Yeah, it elevates us way above them. That's what puts us at the top of the tier, and that is the the initiating, thinking, creating, manufacturing, and utilizing tools. Yeah. Other animals, they're finding out do use tools, whether it be a stick, whether it be a rock, whether it be gravity. Yeah, um, there's, I think it's an eagle that'll take bones from a carcass and fly in the air and drop the bones on rocks. And when the thing hits the rock and cracks open, it has access to the marrow inside the bone. And there's another type of bird of prey, I believe it's another eagle, that will take the babies of the animals that they eat, their prey, take them up and drop them, and the drop will kill them, and then they can eat their prey. And then you got monkeys that use sticks to get termites out of the termite mounds in Africa. And, I mean, animals do use tools, but nothing like man. And the reasoning for this whole spiel was a video that I saw. It was from I don't know if it was an anthropologist or historical genealogist, but anyway, they were saying that the Pacific Islander, the Samoan, Tongan, whatever, and the Filipinos came from the same island. Yeah, Taiwan, the island of Taiwan. And those settlers came from South China. So in other words, they're all related. Okay, we're all related. And what do they use to justify this? DNA. They said, yeah, the DNA marker that they showed. This is okay. You look at a Filipino. Okay, look at a Filipino. Filipinos 5'1", maybe 120 pounds. Okay, and you look at a Samoan. The Samoan is 6'1", 300 pounds. The Filipino, Oriental features. The Pacific Islander, he has Negroid features. The black, the black, the pronounced forehead, the pippin nose, the smashed nose. I mean, all of those features, that's more Negroid. And the Filipino has the more Oriental. And because of the Spanish, they've softened up. I mean, there are three major types of Filipinos. You have the Tagalog, Ilocano, and the Visayan. The Visayan are very fair. They really prove the Spanish. And the Tagalog are the very dark ones. And the Ilocano, they're the mixtures of both. Samoan, you get Samoan. But it's funny, when the Samoan is mixed, or when the Pacific Islander is mixed with other races, like look at Tahiti. Tahiti is with the French. Beautiful. Oh, that combination just knocks you out. Or you take the Pacific Islanders with Caucasians. That's a really good. If the Pacific Islander were a paint, we would be the base. Yeah, you start us and you just add on different colors and you make the color. Yeah, but to say that we all come from the same genetic makeup, I mean, you just look. I don't care if they say over the years, and this is okay, sorry, this is the explanation they gave why the Pacific Islanders so big. It's because only the big and strong ones could make it through the ocean voyages. In the canoes. Yeah, only the biggest and strongest would make it. And what the Filipinos walked. You know, huh? The Filipinos had the same thing. They didn't walk to the Philippines. They had to ride boats too. But the Pacific Islanders, because you gotta really listen to these experts. It's like wow, and they just legalized marijuana a few years ago, and listen to you. And if I sound a little different today, I'm using a new setup. I'm using my condenser mic. I'm just giving the other one a break. But I sound a little bit louder, a little bit more stronger. It's because I'm using a different mic. But anyway, yeah. So that's the things with tools. A tool like a knife. Okay, put in a chef's hands, he does wonders with it. Creates beautiful. I mean, I've seen a chef get a daikon, the Japanese radish, and through his magic, turn it into a chrysanthemum. Beautiful. What is that? Radish roses, tomato roses. They do whatever with those knives. Unbelievable. They make animals with the knives, but then you also can stick it into a person and kill them. It depends on how the tool is used. One thing you're gonna have to watch is gonna be Charlie Kirk's trial. Something didn't sit right with me. They never had a preliminary hearing. They're having it now, 300 days after the suspect's arrest. 300 days for his preliminary hearing. And even then, at the preliminary hearing, they don't have forensics. The forensics coming back and the DNA coming back inconclusive. For those of you who don't know what inconclusive on trial means, it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's full of reasonable doubt. It can be very reasonably doubted that was the gun that was used and that was his DNA found at the scene. Even uh, the CCTV, the closed caption TVs, yeah, the surveillance TVs. In this day and age, 4K is just like the 1080 is the basic, and you can get really good resolution from 1080 and 4K. Okay, like right now, this is 1080. Okay, I don't use 4K because 4K it takes too long to produce. But let's not go there. But yeah, so the DNA and the forensics are coming back not inconclusive. The only thing they have is that he talked to his friend or something the night after. He said, "I shouldn't have done it." But the friend never asked him what you did. What I mean, they they think they assume that he was talking about shooting Charlie Kirk, but he never says it. Again, reasonable doubt. Even though we know the guy is guilty, our system is you gotta beyond a reasonable doubt. If there is any reasonable doubt that this guy pulled the trigger, then he's not guilty, and he may get off. And that's whose fault? The FBI's. Mm-hmm. See, that's what happens when you get one suspect, Lee Harvey Oswald. He was the guinea pig. I mean, he was the scapegoat, right? Was him. Then they find out, they had multiple shooters all over the place. Maybe it wasn't him. And then they had experts use his gun, try to fire off 3 rounds with that kind of accuracy. These are military experts. That's all they do is shoot, shoot, shoot all day. They eat, sleep, and shooting. They couldn't do it. They said no. It was. I mean, they didn't say impossible, but very improbable that a guy of Lee Harvey Oswald's abilities could do that. What he did. I mean, there's so many so many questions. Same thing with Charlie Kirk. I mean, they got the from what I saw, the films of a guy lying down, but the resolution is so bad. He was black. I mean, he was in a black hoodie and everything, taking a fire. Then you see him walking with a limp, and they say, "Oh, that's because he shoved the rifle down his leg," something like that. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to watch. But if it's wrong, it's wrong. And like I said, the tools. Look at the tools they got and how they use them. Yeah, it's not the tool itself. It's how good you use it. AI, right? What I was telling you about AI. It's a great tool, but people rely on it so much. We just had a guy. He had his AI on, and something about he went into the wrong place. I mean, it sent him to the GPS sent him to the wrong place. Yeah, and he got into trouble. I mean, it happens all the time. When we were in when we used to go to Las Vegas, and I use maps. I use paper maps. Okay, my friend, was telling me, no, 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 no. I got the GoPro, whatever it's called. The GPS. I said, okay, let's go to Asian buffet. So he says, so he punches in Asian buffet, and so we followed the directions. It wasn't wrong. We went to Asian buffet, but we went to the wrong one. I told him, you see, if I open a phone book, the phone book gives me 2 locations, and I know which one I want. I want to go to the one on Rainbow Drive, Rainbow and Sahara, which is that away. And you took us that away. So, I mean, you've got to, but you weren't specific enough. AI. Wouldn't it ask you which one you want to go if you get 2? I mean, you know, average intelligence, AI. No, AI for them is actual ignorance. Yep. But those are tools. And we rely so much on them. Look at the kids with their phones. The system goes down, they're lost. Really, they're lost. They have no clue what to do. They have no idea how to act. So reliant on AI, on this stupid smartphone. Sorry about the oxymoron, but that's what it is. That's why I tell people I don't have a smartphone because I'm too stupid. I can't use it. Oh, we'll text you. No, you won't. I don't text. Really, I don't text. They go, well, how do you survive? Okay, it's like a birth certificate. I'm standing right in front of you. What you think? I was born. I was hatched. No, I'm the evidence of live birth. I'm here. Well, I'm the evidence of going on without texting. I'm here. I'm surviving. I'm moving forward. AI with tools. Um, I've been having a lot of a lot of religious people walking around, and what do they use as their tool? The Bible, right? Their Bible. Either they be Jehovah Witness, Mormons, yeah, or just guys going around. Just a lot of them are asking for money. Really, you know, we help our cause. I tell them, no, I don't support religion. And they look at me, oh, you don't believe in God? I said, no, 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 I believe in God. I just don't believe in religion. And they look, and I said, do you think it's the same thing, right? Yeah, no, it's not. I said, God, and then I give them my spiel. God made it really simple for us. Really simple. I have three rules, okay? Number one, there's a God. Number two, treat everybody the way you want to be treated. And number three, keep balance in your life. That's all. Strive for the balance. I want to give them the keep it simple and everything else too, but nah, three is enough for most people. They get trouble with two. They get trouble with one, just believing there is a God. A lot of them, without the religion, they don't know how to worship God. Weird, yeah. They're so they're so conditioned, or our way or the highway, and that's what they do. Um, I listen to talk radio, yeah, our local talk radio, and the majority of, well, not majority, the main guys, they're Jewish. They're Jewish, and they think that that the Jews are the most perfect people. It's from your religion. That's right. You know, and that's not what God wanted. Yeah, you know. Had two girls that came. They were, and I didn't know the Mormons. The girls go on missions too, so they're on their mission. And they asked me, do you believe in Jesus Christ? And I said, well, I believe that there was a man, Jesus of Nazareth, but as far as Son of God, no, because God says, I am He. That's only me. Very selfish. I am me, only me. It's because of the what kind of power God has. Cannot be. It can't be shared with a human. The human just can't make. I mean, Jesus on the cross, he asked God, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" That's what does that tell you? You didn't even have enough faith in your own father, if that was your father, to know that he's going to take you when he wants you. You gotta suffer, but nope. He said, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" He didn't forsake him. And then the Roman guy came up with the spirit, used this tool to get rid of him. But yeah, a tool is something. It's up to you. How do you want to use it? You want to use it good, or you want to use it bad? Um, I'm doing woodwork and I'm getting into tools now. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I mean, I knew it was complicated, but I didn't think it was that complicated. And you just go down rabbit holes, oh, major rabbit holes. And then going into woodworking is just as bad as going into learning this production of video production. It can run you, if you really wanted to, thousands of dollars. But I'm not looking to be. If I need the professionals, I'll just hire them when I need them. But yeah, learning a little bit electrician, little bit woodwork. My friend gave me a good basic on drywall. He's a drywall guy, so we learn how to rough in, how to frame, how to hang, how to set in your pipes, set in your electricity, how to hook it up. I have nephews that is an electrician. I knew what to do. I knew I could do it, but I'd rather have him do it. Yeah, I mean, I made extension cords for my power tools. Got them set up. So it's not rocket science. You can learn it. You just gotta take the time. Like anything else, like any other tool, you've just gotta learn how to use it. You gotta put in the time to practice. I have a router. If you don't know what a router is, it's weird. It looks like a upside down blender, but it has a bit on the bottom, and the different bits give you different things. So after I'm still building my shed, I'm going to be building a toolbox next to the shed, and that should be done in a couple of weeks. And after that, then I'm going to play with my tools. Yeah, my wife will be so happy because we're going to have all these wooden things all around the house. What's that for? I don't know. I just made it. Why did you make it? Cause I just thought about it. It's I cannot. I'm not one of those to just sit down. Even when I'm sitting down, this gray matter is constant. It's working. It's constantly working, and I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used. You get used to constantly thinking, oh, what if this? What if that? And which is bad because you're never satisfied. Everything can be improved. Yeah. Even my well, I'm going to be making for my wife's dialysis center next week my bread pudding, and my bread pudding recipe is pretty down pat. But every time I'll do, like, instead of using vanilla extract, this time I'm gonna be using vanilla paste. I want to see what the difference is. On my creme anglaise, I've got vanilla bean, and I'm gonna try to use the vanilla paste also. And I'm gonna put a pinch of salt inside, just to see what happens to the creme anglaise. I think it's gonna bring out the flavor a little bit more. But stuff like that. I'm constantly tweaking, tweaking, tweaking. Yeah, never satisfied. But you know, it, I believe that once you're satisfied, you start to become complacent, and then you don't give a darn afterwards. And I'm not. I don't like to be like that. I like to give a darn. Yeah, but that's tools. Use them. But think about it. That Pacific Islanders and Filipinos came from the same genetic pool. I mean, we're the same species. It's just that they haven't really unlocked DNA. They know what it is. They know that you got your helix, your double helix, your chromosome, your your spirals, but they haven't really unlocked the code, if you would say. They have markers, but the markers, all they do is what it's correlation. What adds up to this, what adds up to that, and they look for correlations. But then they say that's how it is. But that's our science. Our science, it's a mixture. Some are complacent. Some say, okay, we've got it, and that's all we're going to do. And some are saying, no, we're doing more. Now, they're talking about a lot of RNA. Or they use the latest RNA, and we haven't even cracked the code of RNA. How can you use something that you don't even know how it works? You know, RNA stands for ribose nucleic acid. Nucleic acid. What does that mean? The absolute core of human genetics. That is our core. Each person has his own Na, nucleic acid. It it shares a common enzyme, but each person, and identical twins and everything. I mean, they are the exceptions, but each person has his own unique. They go, oh, it's like 1 something trillion, some weird number that they throw out. They love throwing numbers like that. They can't prove it. How can you prove a trillion? It's 1 in a trillion. We don't even have a trillion people. You only got four. What the world now is, what, 4 point something trillion? 4 point something billion. Yeah, our population. So how can you get to a trillion? A trillion is 1,000 billions. There haven't been a trillion people living since, I think, time began. Since man began. But yet, the DNA, that's the numbers. They throw out these numbers that are totally, you can't prove them. But they do it, why? To sound like they know what they're talking about. Yeah, you're blowing smoke. Blowing smoke. So, you take everything with a grain of salt, and that's sad that you gotta take everything with a grain of salt. But I keep trying, and I tell you folks, that's what we do. We strive for the. We may never know the total truth, but that don't mean we cannot try to get it. And one of the tools we use, right here, use the tool, the sixth sense. Use your sixth sense. It is a massively powerful tool. Unless you party then. But you learn to use it. But anyway, that's my spiel for this week. The tool. So hope you guys have a great week. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Um, don't know what next week is going. Want to see what happens in Iran. I mean, Trump's gonna. I mean, Trump he came out and he gave them a hint. He said, "I don't like you guys." In other words, you're expendable people. Genocide? No, just clearing the field. It can be reworded, you know that. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, you guys have a great week. Ahui ho, maalama pono. And from me to you, as always, aloha. Take care. Love you. See you next week. Bye bye.